All right, hi guys, welcome to the channel. So you might notice that I'm in a different location, and that is because I filmed the first video, but I did not have my handy dandy mic because it died on me, and so it just sounded so terrible, and I wasn't gonna do that to you guys. I wasn't gonna have you guys struggling to hear what I was saying, and so I decided to refilm the video today. And so yeah, I am at a different park, and please excuse the natural sounds of, I don't know, birds, children being happy. Like, I try to come here early in the morning, but that just didn't happen today, okay? But yeah, anyway, so let's get into the video. So today's video, we are going to be talking about um we're going to be talking about what are we talking about in today's video? I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. But we're going to be talking about feeling lost in your 20s. Yeah, that's the title. We're going to be talking about feeling lost in your 20s and why that's okay, right? And the first thing I want to start talking about is anxiety. Like, I feel like I am, it's so weird for me to be talking about this because I don't know. I feel like I'm not the best person to give advice about these sorts of things, but I mean, I am a very anxious person, and so maybe I can warn you guys. And just kind of share some of my experience so you realize how not alone you are. But yeah, so hold on. I feel like I need to change my position. Like, I just don't like how the sun is. Ooh, yes. Okay, that looks a lot better. Okay, so we're gonna shoot from this way because I think it's so cute. But yeah, so basically we're gonna be talking about why, feeling lost in your 20s is perfectly normal and okay. And the first part is uncertainty. So when you're in your 20s, there's a lot of uncertainty, right? And everyone's just in different places doing different things. When prior to when we were all in school, we were in the same grade, taking for the most part the same classes, right? We were all squished together, and now we're not squished together. Now some of us are popping off in different directions, and you are probably the only kernel in the bag that has not popped yet, and you're just watching everyone around you pop into these fluffy pieces of popcorn while you're the only one who hasn't popped yet. You are still struggling to figure it out, and I'm here to tell you that's okay. And the first thing I want to talk about is expectations, and basically how you have to have good expectations when you're in your 20s, and you have to have realistic expectations in your 20s, because I think that's what leads to us feeling lost and just frustrated because we had an expectation, right? We had an expectation that, maybe we would go to college, get a degree, get a career, hopefully meet somebody in college, get married to that person, travel, and buy our friends and parents the best gifts in the entire world, be an amazing daughter, friend, lover, whatever. And that didn't happen, right? Or it's partially not happening, right? There's a struggle to it, or some of it did happen, or maybe all of it happened, but you're still not satisfied with where you want to be. And I think that's the part of being in your 20s that, you know, is kind of like glossed over, right? Because I think a lot of it is just seeing what other people have and where other people are, and feeling behind and like having to chase and catch up with them, when in reality that's not even really where you want to be. And you really want to be doing something else, but you think, oh, they have it all together, they have this and I want this, right? Like, we're just constantly looking at what other people have and wanting to obtain that for ourselves, right? So jealousy, comparison, competition, all of that, right? And I think that's why it's so important to just have, like, you need to figure out an expectation, right? A realistic expectation, um, for your life. And yeah, that's all I'm going to really say there. You just have to have a better expectation, and kind of, I don't want to say lessen your expectations, but just realize that a lot of things in life are not in your control, and kind of let go of your perfection mindset. Like, I'm a huge perfectionist, like, and I'm kind of prestigious and I'm kind of bougie. Like, I know that about myself. But oh, I think those birds are getting into a fight. That's wonderful. But yeah, like you just kind of have to have a better expectation in life. And also practice having gratitude, right? Being grateful for what you already have, okay? That is so important. And then that brings us to the second part, which is anxiety, okay? I am reading off my notes, do not judge me. All right, so anxiety, life of anxiety. So I am sometimes the physical embodiment of anxiety. Like if you guys have ever seen Inside Out, like that purple guy, no, it wasn't purple, it was green. Purple was fear. But that green anxiety, like when I saw her, I was like, is that me? Is that who I am? And I just that movie made me realize so many things about life. I highly recommend you guys go watch Inside Out 2 if you have not. And I mean even Inside Out 1. It was so good. But yeah, it just made me realize how anxiety will have you worrying about things that aren't even going to happen, right? Anxiety is trying to solve the problems that aren't even a problem yet. It's just your mind. It's just your mind, having fear. And I think anxiety to some extent is a normal reaction to the uncertainty. And life, no matter at what age you are, there's always uncertainty. Anything can change at a moment's notice. And I think anxiety to some extent is normal. However, you cannot stay there. Anxiety will hold you back, hold you down. It will destroy your health. It'll destroy your mind. It'll destroy your relationships, even. And so, you really need to work to get anxiety under control, okay? You gotta lasso that thing, okay? And I think another thing about anxiety, especially in your 20s, is that you don't really have a foundation. Like, you don't have a lot of it figured out. You're starting from scratch most of the time. And I think that's what just makes anxiety so bad for us. But I think, especially like as a Christian, I know that like I believe that God will not forsake me. And then also, you can't be in the same place forever. Like, I think that anxiety makes us think, oh, we're going to be stuck here. We feel stuck. Like we're going to be stuck doing this same thing that we hate forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. But you have to ignore that and choose to realize like that's not going to happen to you. And also, you have to be patient because sometimes, again, we have like an unrealistic expectation of things just happening boom, boom, boom. And then when that doesn't happen, we get upset, we get anxious. And you just have to realize that when you're anxious, I mean, you can't really control anything. And so you kind of just have to, I mean, what I do is I cast my worries on God, right? I cast my fears on God, and that's all I can do because I'm not in control of anything. And you also have to realize anxiety and stress, especially, is so dangerous for your health. And like, that's the reason why God tells us not to do not stress, do not be anxious, do not worry. He tells us all of those things because, I mean, I can speak to this specifically as someone who developed an autoimmune condition. Like, I feel like I developed an autoimmune condition partially due to how anxious I was, how stressed I was. And I mean, I know they don't really know why people develop like autoimmune conditions, but they do believe stress to be one of those reasons, right? And so I think that anxiety in your 20s, you really have to get rid of it. Like, I mean, and it's always going to be there, but you have to learn how not to give into it and not allow it to consume your life because it consumed me. And I was a person who was just so focused on being productive and I have to get everything done now, now, now. I have to live super fast. I got to get all my productive things done so that way I can be here and then be there by then and then all of that. And my mom and my parents can be super proud of me. Like, that's just not, that's just not, that's just not realistic. Like, you can't rush, right? You can't, and I guess that brings us to the third one, which is you have to slow down. Like, anxiety will have you trying to go super fast and figure out everything super quickly. And like, I believe I'm going to choose to believe what everyone says, and that slow and steady wins the race. And realistically, things that are built slower tend to last longer than things that are built fast, right? When things are rushed, they tend to crumble a lot easier than things that are built slowly over time. They tend to have more longevity. They tend to there's just more there's just more loyalty, I guess I would say. Like if you were, in my case, trying to build like an audience, like it takes time, right, to build a relationship with people. You can't just rush building a friendship or anything. It always takes time. The best things in life take time. And just realizing that it's okay, and we sometimes feel like it's not okay because there's a lot of shame, like, or embarrassment about where we are in life and feeling like people are going to judge us. But honestly, at the end of the day, like this whole video is about, is that you're not alone. And even in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, like I've realized that I've seen people struggle in their 50s. I've seen people struggle in their 60s and 70s, 80s, 90s. Like it's just, unfortunately, it's not something that ever goes away. um but I do think that the biggest thing that you can do for yourself is really honing in and just kind of controlling your anxiety and suppressing it, and getting help, and also building friendships. And I feel like we're not meant to really do this life alone 100%. And so you need to have people to confide in about the things that you're going through. And I feel like that has always helped me, at least, like having someone to talk to. Of course, I talk to God, but I also talk to my friends about it. I talk to my family about it, right? And that always kind of soothes me and helps me. And so, highly recommend cultivating some really amazing friendships to deal with the uncertainty of life. Um, and that brings us to number 4, which is letting go of perfection, right? We need to let go of perfection. Perfection as in constantly having it all together. Like I'm constantly seeing on social media my 5 to 9 before my 9 to 5, my, what's it called, that new era when you're like in your starting over era or rebranding era or something. And it's just like, honestly, you're constantly going to be like, there's no, I've realized that there's really no such, like, you're never going to achieve perfect balance, basically, is what I'm saying. Like, you're always going to be struggling to find time for something and fitting a bunch of things into your schedule and trying to juggle it all at once. Like, that's not something that just really goes away. I mean, I don't even think it goes away if you get super rich, but um like it's just not like, you're always going to be trying to have a regimen and like constantly struggling to keep things in order. And just having like the perfect balance, the perfect regimen is not like, at least in my case, like I don't think that's realistic. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I definitely see the good behind it, but at the same time I think it can set an unrealistic expectation, and to think that you just can get it all done in one day, right? And sometimes what I've realized is that if it doesn't get done today, it's gonna have to get done tomorrow. It just leave it for tomorrow, right? You need to let go of your perfection, guys. Like trying to always like have everything together. Like I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I feel like you guys know what I'm trying to say here. But yeah. So that brings us to number 5, which is focusing on yourself. You need to focus on yourself, guys, because sometimes, not sometimes, all the times, we're always looking at other people. When we're on social media, when we're at our jobs, when we're out and about, we're always looking at other people and comparing ourselves to other people. And that is obviously detrimental. Like that is so bad. Like why do we do that to ourselves, right? And we're constantly, feeling jealousy, comparison of where somebody else is, and that, like I said in the beginning of the video, that might not even be where you want to be. But because it looks good, it seems good, you want to be like them, right? You want to have it like how they have it. And so I would say, yeah, so definitely focusing on yourself. And yeah, like I know I was talking about like how regimens and yada yada, but like you need to focus on yourself and have a good mind and a good body. um Honestly, as someone who is currently working in medicine, trust me, you are going to want to take care of your body because it will save you a lot of pain, and it will save you a lot of money in the future if you just take care of it now. And I don't mean take care of it for the sake of vanity, of looking good, but take care of it for longevity, right? It, like I said, you don't want to I mean, we just tend to think about 20s and now, that we end up destroying a lot of our health, our physical mind, our physical mind, our mind and our physical body, trying to get where we need to get to, or trying to get to where we want to get to. And in the end, like once we're in our older years, right, our 60s, 70s plus, right, now we have all of these pains, and life is just so different, right? And so I would say take care of yourself, guys. Like literally just take care of yourself. Like, I mean, and I don't want to talk too much about like meal plans and like different diets, but I know something that has helped for me is, as someone who has an autoimmune condition, is like trying to follow an inflammatory diet. Of course, I still eat things that I'm not supposed to eat because it's just tasty, but for the most part, I'm trying to, I know what to eat, right, to feel better, right? I know what to do to feel better. And so you really need to pay attention to that in your 20s, right? This is literally where you can set yourself up for success and failure. And I think the most important part of setting yourself up for success is having a healthy mind and having a healthy body, okay? And I feel like I don't need to harp too much more on that because I feel like it's obvious. But sometimes, like as in all the other things I was talking about, we get so focused on do, now, speed, that we sacrifice our health, and it's just terrible. Like, let's not do that. And then the last point of this video that I want to talk about is finding the one, right? So, as a woman, right, like I feel like it's always been marriage is on a pedestal, right? Like, because your life doesn't begin until you get married, until you find the one, and then you guys have kids and you have a house, and then you live happily ever after. Things are wonderful. And then that doesn't really happen, right? Well, wait a minute now. Let me not say that. Let me not say that. That happens for some people, right? And it just isn't always perfect all of the time, right? There's conflict in relationships. There's even struggle in finding and getting into a good relationship and finding, you know, a good man or a good woman. And I think, again, it's important. Like, I'm taking a lot of advice from people who are in relationships who, godly Christian relationships. And a lot of what they say is just like, it'll happen when you least expect it. And I know a lot of people hate that, but I think it's true. Like, when you are focusing on yourself and just focusing on your hobbies, your goals, your family, your friends, taking care of yourself, like, you'll notice like you'll be in a good place, and you will meet that person, and it won't be hard. And that's what I'm hoping will happen for me. Like, I'm hoping that, like, I used to think like, because I'm so shy and I'm so introverted, that I needed to like act a certain way and be more extroverted to like be in a relationship, but no, you don't need to do that. Like, you can literally just be yourself, and it'll just work out. Like, it'll just work out. The person that God has for me will just work out. Like, I won't have to be like desperate and chasing them down and doing all of those things and just acting out of character to get a man, right? I won't have to do any of that, right? I'll just be myself, and he'll be there, I'll be there, and it'll just work out. And yeah, so that's kind of all of what I wanted to talk about in this video. Like, even now, like, I'm feeling like this video didn't turn out how I wanted it to. And like, I'm feeling my perfectionist take over. And I'll be honest, like, re-recorded this video like 2 or 3 times. And I also think it does partially have to do with the fact that I'm not used to talking to the camera. But again, that's something that takes time, right? The more I keep at it, talking to the camera will get a little bit more natural. I do think that when I'm talking with like a friend, naturally, like, it's just easier. But when you're talking to the camera, looking at yourself, it's not so easy. And so, yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys got some really great things out of this, and one of the most important parts being that you aren't alone, right? That was the purpose of this video, and I hope you feel like listening to me, and hopefully in the comments, like, seeing that, oh yeah, this is totally normal, and that you feel inspired and encouraged to keep trying at whatever it is that you want to do. And the last thing I want to say is that if you have a number 2 or a number 3, a number 4, even a number 5, and yeah, I'll stop right there. You are young, okay? As someone who, again, works in medicine, like I've seen, like, you're young, right? You don't need to be feeling like you're old. You are young if you have a 2 in front of your number, 100%, okay? Without a doubt, okay? So thank you guys for watching this video. Please stay tuned for some more videos that will be coming out sometime next week, and of course towards the end of the month, because I will be doing my August reading wrap up. Okay, I will be talking about all the books that I read in October, so please stay tuned for that video. And also, I think I'm gonna probably try the Rory Gilmore challenge, but we'll see about that. Okay, so yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Bye. Oh my gosh, there's a bee. Okay.